Hey everyone, welcome back. Corey Henderson here. Right now we're going to go over the first chapter in this book, How the Mind Works, written by Christian D. Larson back in 1912. We're going to go over the greatest power in man, in you. Okay, so it is now a demonstrated fact that the powers and the possibilities that are inherent in the mind of man are practically unbounded. They're limitless. You have no limits in your mind. And this conclusion is based upon the discovery that no limit can be found to anything in human nature, and that everything in human nature contains a latent capacity for perpetual development. This discovery, and no discovery of greater importance has appeared in any age, gives man a new conception of himself, a conception in which when applied will necessarily revolutionize the entire sphere of human thought and action. To be able to discern the real significance of this new conception will naturally constitute the greatest power in man. And when he says conception, basically how you view yourself, your image of yourself, and should therefore be given the first thought in all efforts that have advancement, attainment, or achievement in view. The purpose of each individual should not simply be to cultivate and apply these possibilities that are now in evidence, but also to develop power to discern and fathom what really exists within him. This power is the greatest power because it prepares the way for the attainment and expression of all other powers. It is the power that unlocks the door to everything that is great and wonderful in man, and must therefore be understood and applied before anything of real value can be accomplished through human thought or action. The principal reason why the average person remains weak and incompetent is found in the fact that he makes no effort to fathom and understand the depths of his real being. He tries to use what is in action on the surface, but is unconscious of the fact that enormous powers are in existence in the greater depth in his life, within himself. These powers are dormant simply because they have not been called into action. They will continue to lie dormant until man develops his greatest power, that is, the power to discern what really exists within him. The fundamental cause of failure is found in the belief that what exists on the surface is all there is of a man, and the reason why greatness is the rare exception instead of the universal rule can be traced to the same cause. When the mind discovers that its powers are inexhaustible, and that its faculties and talents can be developed to the very highest degree imaginable, and to any degree beyond that, the fear of failure will entirely disappear. In its stead will come the conviction that man may attain anything or achieve anything, provided, of course, he works within the natural sphere of universal law. Whatever circumstances may be today, such a mind will know that all can be changed, that this condition can be made to pass away, and that the vacancy may be filled with the heart's most cherished desires. That mind can discern what exists in the depths of the real life of man does not simply change its views as to what man may attain or achieve, but actually begins to draw upon the inexhaustible power within, and begins at once to develop and apply the greater possibilities that this deeper discernment has revealed. When man can see, feel, and understand what exists beneath the surface of his life, the expression of his deeper life begins, because whatever we become conscious of, that we invariably bring forth into tangible expression. And since the deeper life contains innumerable possibilities as well as unbounded power, it is evident that when the deeper life is clearly discerned, anything within the human sphere may be attained or achieved. The idea that there is more and more of man than what appears on the surface should be so constantly and so deeply impressed upon the mind that it becomes a positive conviction, and no thought should be placed in action unless it is based upon this conviction. To live, think, and act in the realization of the fact that there is more of me should be the constant purpose of every individual. When this is done, the more will constantly develop, coming forth in greater and greater measure, giving added power, capacity, and life to everything that is in action in the human system. When the average person fails, he either blames circumstances or comes to the conclusion that he was not equal to the occasion. He is therefore tempted to give up and tries to be content with the lesser. But if he knew that there were more in him than what he had applied in his undertaking, he would not give up. He would know that by developing this more, he positively would succeed where he had previously failed. And you want to know how you develop the more within you? You read books like this that help you grow and develop yourself. It is therefore evident that when man gives attention to his greatest power, that is, the power to discern the more that is in him, he will never give up until he succeeds, and in consequence, he invariably will succeed. That individual who knows his power does not judge according to appearances. He never permits himself to believe that this or that cannot be done. He knows that those things can be done because he has discovered the more which really exists within him. He works in the conviction that he must and will succeed because he has the power. And this is the truth. You have the power. He does have the power. We all have the power. To live, think, and work in the attitude that there is more of you within the great depths of your being, and to know that there is more of you within the great depths of your being, and to know that this more is so immense that no limit to its power can be found. This will cause the mind to come in closer and closer touch with this greatest power. And you will in consequence gain more and more of this power. The mind that lives in this attitude opens the door of consciousness, so to speak, to everything in human life that has real quality and work. And for you, those of you who don't know what consciousness is, everything is energy. You yourself are a constant source of energy. You are consciousness. You are aware. You are self-aware. A self-aware unit of energy that constitutes consciousness. And your mind is your tool. We are all spirits inhabiting this body. We all have our own inner world. We all have our own specialty. And we have a mind that helps us to create. We could either go within and look at what we have within us, or we could look without and express what we have within us in the external world. Okay? So to speak, to everything in human life that has real quality and worth, it places itself in a position where it can respond to the best that exists within itself. And modern psychology has discovered that this best is extraordinary in quality, limitless in power, and contains possibilities that cannot be numbered. It is the truth that man is a marvelous being, and the greatest power in man is to discern this marvelousness that really does exist within him. It is the law that we steadily develop and bring forth whatever we think of the most. We shall therefore find it highly profitable to think constantly of our deeper nature, and to try in every manner and form imaginable to fathom the limitless and the inexhaustibleness of these great and marvelous depths. In practical life, this mode of thinking will have the same effect upon the personal mind as that which is secured when placing an ordinary wire in contact with the wire that is charged. The great within is a live wire. When the mind touches the power, the great within, it becomes charged with the same immense power. And the mind is more or less in touch with the great within when it lives, thinks, and works in the firm conviction that there is more of me, so much more that it cannot be measured. We cannot receive from the deeper life only that which we recognize, because consciousness is the power between the outer life and the great within, and we open the door only to those things of which we become conscious. The principal reason, therefore, why the average person does not possess greater powers and talents is because he is not conscious of more. He is not aware that he has more within himself. And he does not and he is not conscious of more because he has not recognized the depths of his real life, and has not tried to fathom the possibilities that are latent within him. The average person lives on the surface. He thinks that the surface is all there is of him, and therefore does not place himself in touch with the live wire of his great and inexhaustible nature within. He does not exercise his greatest power, the power to discern what his whole nature may contain, and therefore does not unlock the door to any of his other powers. This being true, we can readily understand why mortals are weak. They are weak simply because they have chosen weakness. But when they choose power and greatness, they shall positively become what they have chosen to become. And we all can choose power and greatness because it is within us. We all admit that there is more in man than what is expressed in the average person. We may differ as to how much more, but the more should be developed, expressed, and applied. It is unjust both to the individual and to the race to remain in the lesser when it is possible to attain the higher, the richer, and the greater. It is right that we should all ascend to the higher and the greater now, and the greatest power in man reveals the fact that we all can. The world is changing. It is awakening. Now that all this is finally being shared within everyone, around, towards everyone, because we are all here for each other. And it is only this world will change when the people start to change. You cannot change others, but you could be the inspiration for others to make themselves want to change, to make themselves want to be better, because you know for a fact that there is that within you, which you are made, that knows no weakness, sickness, or imperfections. We are all perfect beings. God made us the way we are. There is nothing wrong with you, and don't ever let anyone tell you that there is something wrong with you, because there's not. You have your own voice. You have your own light. You have your own visions and ideas. Use them. The world needs them. We are part of the shifting consciousness, and we are part of the awakening generation, and we're doing our part to help. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it this far, I want to thank you. If you liked it, please share it. And I'll see you on the other side of the galaxy. And in the next chapter, we're going to go over the best use of the mind. Take care.